Yes, that's right, we somehow have yet another update on the Lauren Mortician and Janette Braun situation. But before we do get into like part 76 of this topic at this point, I do feel like it's right to just kind of start this with a bit of a reminder. The reminder being that this whole situation started because Lauren Mortician couldn't take being corrected by a child passenger safety technician about child passenger safety because she had used a child seat before. Therefore, she was definitely right. It's like me getting pissed off at a pilot when he tells me that it's not as simple as just pressing R2 and a PlayStation controller to take flight, and me being sat there like, excuse me, Mr. Pilot, I've played GTA before. But yeah, I am hoping if you're watching this video right now, you are somewhat up to date with the whole situation, because I usually like to give recaps at the beginning of these videos, but if I even try to give like a quick recap on this whole situation, we would get to like 10 minutes into this video before I actually got to the current topic. If you aren't up to date, I would recommend checking out my previous videos, but all you need to know right now for this video is that we're talking about the lawsuit that involves the plaintiffs, Lauren The Mortician and Janette Braun, and the defendants, Jessie Smiles, Lily Marston, Caffeinated Kitty, and Becca Day. And we obviously took a look at the lawsuit in a previous video. It was completely baffling, looked like a teenager wrote it, didn't look like they had a case from my opinion, but more importantly, from people's opinions that actually know what they're talking about when it comes to this type of stuff. We obviously have Runkle of the Bailey and Mad Katzer, to name a few actual attorneys who know what they're talking about, and they looked at it and thought, what on earth is this? Well, it turns out the lawsuit that Lauren and Janette filed has been returned to them because they got some stuff wrong. Shock, I know. And not only did they get some stuff wrong, it does somewhat seem like, in my opinion, that they purposefully got it wrong, to be a bit sneaky about what could happen if they told the truth. And I mean, it's all going to make a bit more sense as we get into this. Now, I do have to give full credit to Runkle of the Bailey. He has just uploaded a video called Is Lauren the Mortician / Janette Braun's Case Doomed to Die in California? It's a really good video. I'm going to leave a link in the description to go and watch it. Like I said, he knows a lot more about this stuff than I do, and that's where I'm getting this information from. But it's incredibly interesting, and knowing Janette at this point, it's actually not even that surprising. Okay, so let's actually have a look at what the judge sent back, and like I said, this will all make sense in just a second. This docket entry was made by the clerk on Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. Minute entry before the Honourable Mary M. Rowland. In light of the plaintiff's invocation of diversity jurisdiction as the basis for federal jurisdiction, on or before the 31st of January 2024, plaintiffs shall file a jurisdiction supplement as a separate docket entry. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know what this meant before I watched Runkle of the Bailey's video, but now knowing what it is, it's very interesting. Because the way the laws seem to work in America is if you're suing someone from a different state, this is something called a diversity jurisdiction. This is where all the plaintiffs need to live in a different state to all the defendants. The plaintiffs can live in the same state, and the defendants can live in the same state to each other, but they can't cross over between the two. Now, more specifically, and this word is very important as we'll get into this, but it actually depends what state you are a citizen of. Not which state you just happen to live at the minute, or what state you work at, or anything like that. What state you're a citizen of. I mean, if we look at the lawsuit here, it says, Plaintiff Lauren Probson is a citizen and resident of the state of Wisconsin. And in the next line, we've got, upon information and belief, defendant Rebecca Day is a citizen and resident of the state of Missouri. And so on, we've got Caffeinated Kitty is a citizen and resident of the state of Georgia. And then probably the most important one out of the defendants we're about to read is that defendant Lily Marston is a citizen and resident of the state of California. Now, one thing you may have noticed is I missed out two people, right? I didn't mention Janette Braun and I didn't mention Jessie Smiles for two very different reasons. Now, we'll get to the Jessie Smiles stuff in just a second because that's actually quite funny, but we'll actually talk about Janette Braun first and see what she said. You know, where's she a citizen of? Janette Braun is licensed to practice law in Illinois and operating the law firm Braun IP Law, LLC, in DuPage County, Illinois, and resides in Illinois on a part-time basis. Now, one key word you might have noticed is missed out there is citizen. She doesn't say, she just completely leaves it out. Now, the reason why she might have left it out, as Runkle of the Bailey goes on to say in his video, again, I can't recommend his video enough, it's very, very good, but he actually believes that there is a chance that Janette Braun is a citizen of California. Allegedly, she's had some legal trouble there, she's also going through a divorce in California. All that stuff is kind of irrelevant, the specifics of it, but what is relevant is the fact that it's in California, and the fact that she completely ignored where she is a citizen of in the United States does kind of make it seem that she might be a citizen of California, the same state as Lily Marston, meaning this whole lawsuit could get scrapped and get moved to California. Now again, the reason why that is very interesting, as Runkle of the Bailey says in his video, is that the anti-SLAPP laws in California pretty strict. And we've already heard from multiple attorneys that this lawsuit definitely does seem to be a SLAPP lawsuit, and the fact that the anti-SLAPP laws are so strict in California would maybe suggest why Janette didn't want it to be in California, and she just thought she could leave out that information and it would go unnoticed, and maybe that has happened before, maybe people have got away with stuff like that before, but this judge noticed. And it seems like if the judge also believes that this is a SLAPP lawsuit, it could result in Janette Braun and Lauren The Mortician having to pay the attorney fees of the defendants, which would be a brilliant conclusion to all of this, by the way. That'd be a very happy ending. But again, this is all speculation. There is a chance that Janette Braun isn't a citizen of California and is a citizen of somewhere else that she didn't mention for whatever reason. At this point, I am hoping that she is a citizen of California for multiple reasons. It'd be very funny because she thought she could get away with it and didn't. But also, it would limit her chances even more of winning this lawsuit, which is obviously great news. But yeah, getting back to Jessie Smiles here, another thing that the judge said, which again is just something that they did wrong in the lawsuit, and it's very, very funny, is this, and it says, additionally, plaintiffs allege that defendant Vasquez is a victim of certain crimes, and out of respect to her privacy, plaintiffs request not to directly plead Miss Vasquez's current state of residence. As mentioned, allegations of residence as opposed to citizenship are not sufficient to establish diversity jurisdiction. Plaintiffs should file a motion for leave to file under seal any portion of the jurisdictional supplement pursuant to local rule 26.2, and it carries on. But what this is basically referring to is, in the section that we just read, talking about the citizens and all this stuff, right, they go on to talk about Jessie Smiles, Jessica Vasquez, whose name I did actually blur out when I was reading, like, the lawsuit, because I didn't know if her name was public or not. A lot of people were telling me in the comments that's not, like, private, so I did that for no reason, apparently. But I was just trying to be safe. I didn't know if it was public, okay? But either way, reading this now, it says, upon information and belief, defendant Jessica Vasquez is a citizen and resident of a state that is neither Illinois nor Florida. Now, obviously, she mentions Illinois because she said, like, Janette Braun is licensed to practice law in Illinois. And without saying where she is a citizen of, like, she's really trying to make it seem as if she's a citizen of Illinois without actually saying that, which again just makes it more sketchy. It makes it seem as if she didn't just, like, forget key words in it before because she's still not saying it. Upon information and belief, defendant Vasquez is a victim of certain crimes, and out of respect to her privacy, plaintiffs request to not directly plead Miss Vasquez's current state of residence. So basically, Lauren and Janette are trying to make themselves seem like such nice people here, you know, just looking out for people's well-being again. And they're like, you know what, we're not actually going to say where her place of residence is in the public lawsuit, you know, for her own safety. And it's very funny because Jessie Smiles actually commented on Runkle the Bailey's video saying this: I find all this tiptoeing around my residence in the name of pretending to care about crimes I've been a victim of quite amusing. Janet, I have a video on my channel called I Moved to Georgia. Give me a break. So yeah, Jessie's having none of it. It does seem like an act, you know, trying to make it seem as if they care about people's well-being, the same way when they did the wellness check on Caffeinated Kitty, trying to make it seem as if it came from a good place. Clearly it didn't. But even with them trying to act as if they're nice and whatnot, they still filed it wrong. The judge is basically saying, okay, right, you don't want to say it in the public lawsuit, but I still need to know where she is a citizen and resident of. If you don't want to put it in the public lawsuit, you file it under seal and tell the court privately. Like, this whole statement from the judge is very funny. It seems like, and I am just assuming what his mindset was when he's writing this, but it seems like it could all be summarized by saying, do your fucking job. Like, I shouldn't be the one telling you about all of this. You're an attorney, aren't you? And in fact, there's actually two attorneys I should have read through this, because you've got Janette Braun, who's one of the plaintiffs, and then you've actually got the attorney who submitted this lawsuit. As we can see here, it's Benjamin C.R. Lockyer, and he was the attorney for the plaintiffs in this case. So there's two attorneys. You have two attorneys on your side, and you still got it wrong. It's a very baffling situation, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens now. Like, will this get moved to California? I mean, I'm assuming we will find out very soon. Of course, I'll give you an update when we do. I would love to know your thoughts down below on everything that we spoke about in today's video. What do you think is going to happen next? If you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit, alright? Goodbye.